Hello, welcome to the Health and Wellness Program. You're listening to Maree Gifkins. And I have a clinic in Hastings and Waipakarau. So in Hastings, I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and Waipakarau, Mondays and Fridays. And I've been an alternative therapist, natural therapist, healer, whatever kind of label you want to put on me. I've probably got them all. Naturopath. I was a naturopath first. And I've been doing this for 26 years. A long time, and you get to know lots of different things. So today I thought we might talk about nerves. And we need our nerves, of course, otherwise we're I don't know what we are without nerves, actually. We can't feel anything, can we? Nerves help us evaluate our surroundings. And nerves help us interact with each other, and nerves you can feel the environment through our skin, through the sensors on our skin, which interact to our nervous system, which is kind of like a communication system all in the body, like a telephone system. And so the brain all the messages can go up to the brain, and the brain has to try and sort it out, and then you send messages back through the body. Like, so if we want to go to the bench and get a drink of water, and we go, oh yeah, I'm thirsty. And so the brain goes, oh, we need to walk. So it sends a current through the nervous system to the muscles, where there's nerves in the muscles, and that contracts the muscles and allows you to walk and go and then turn on the tap. So again, it's an electrical stimulation through your arm down to your hand to be able to turn in the right direction and then stop it at the right time. Your eyes are seeing. There's all this communication going on so fast in our bodies, and we don't even feel it. We just automatically do things without even thinking, but nerves are also they're so hard to deal with when things start to go wrong. When things are going wonderful, you don't feel anything. I mean, you feel warmth and you can feel cold, but you don't feel like anything going on in your body. But when the nerves are disrupted and there's things happening with the nerves and it's not so good, the current decreases. And that's how I try to explain it to people is when your nervous system is working fine, you've got 100% current coming through all that wiring, and it's all perfect. The light turns on and it turns off and it doesn't do any flickering. But when our nervous system is injured or damaged or there's something going on, the current isn't 100%. And that means we get an altered sensation, we get an altered feeling through our nervous system. But like the light, if it doesn't get the full current, it starts to flicker. Or the jug will turn off if there's too much coming through. It'll just switch itself off. And so as the nervous system is kind of like the current on a house. So if you sort of think about it like that, it makes sense that we need 100% coming through our nervous system for everything to function correctly. So let's have a look. We have our main nervous system and our nerves. And we can there's a big junction of our vagus nerve, and it comes down from our cranial, from our head area, comes down by the ear, and then comes down and wanders through our body. It comes on both sides, and it starts wandering through our body. So the vagus nerve can have an effect in the lungs. It can be into the heart. It can be into the stomach. It can be into the intestines. It can be into the pancreas. So that vagus nerve goes into a lot of different organs and a lot of places in our body. So our vagus nerve has to work really well. And there's a lot of talk now with children not having very good stimulation with the vagus nerve due to the fact that their heads are down hour after hour, day after day. They're at school and they're on a device. But, even before that, they were writing and looking down at a desk for hour after hour. And now it's even sort of a little bit worse because we're now on devices, and you're getting not only your head is down, but you're also getting those visuals flashing into our eyes. So our eyes are constantly you might have heard the blue light and the lights affecting our eyes. Same with fluorescent lighting. It's not good. It irritates our eyes. Natural light is always much better. So the children are now developing, and then they come home and they're playing on devices or phones or, whatever else they have. And so there's hour after hour with the head down, and that is starting to change the curvature spine of the neck, which then can affect the vagus nerve. And so then that starts to upset all those messages coming through to the stomach, and they don't get hungry, or they're finicky with food, or their lungs, and they're not getting rid of the mucus they should be, or infections can start developing. I'm not saying in all cases. Sometimes there is a proper cough that they get, or a cold, or a flu, but sometimes the nerves are irritated, and so then that sets off an issue in the lungs. They are not getting their full 100% current into the lungs, and so it can't empty itself either. Like with the leg, you get that stimulation to the leg and it contracts. So we need to contract sometimes in our body to get rid of the things that we don't want anymore. And so that vagus nerve is really important. I think it's on the right side. If it's impacted and it's not flowing as well, you can have effect with your blood pressure and into your heart and heart palpitations. I'm not saying that's always the case, but it can interfere. Or you get a panic sort of feeling on the inside, and you've been busy and you've had a bit of stress, and you're busy doing this, busy doing that, and then when you stop, everything internally is still carrying on fast, and then you're like, okay, calm down, breathe, take a deep breath in, relax, it's okay, nobody's chasing you with a knife, it's all going to be okay. And then if you can't settle your heart and that blood pressure, and it just keeps going like that, then your blood pressure starts to increase, your pulse starts to increase, and then you might need to go and see the doctor, and then you might need medication. Well, we need to settle that before you get to that point, because once they say you need to go on medication, you're normally on that for life, or they'd like to have you on it for life, which is a big business. So if we can settle our heart after being stressed quickly and naturally, then things are much better. So if you're not settling after stress and you're not calming down and you're not able to, and there's no real reason why your heart keeps racing or your pulse is high, then maybe the vagus nerve is just stimulated, or it's impacted in the neck, and that needs to be corrected. On the left side, it quite often affects the digestion. You could be feeling nauseous, and there's no reason. There's not a tummy bug, and maybe they've done tests and they can't find any reasons why you've got feeling nauseous. Your gallbladder's okay. So it could be the nerves that are just unsettled, and the vagus nerve isn't running at its full 100% capacity. So it needs to be stimulated, or the structure needs to change. So nerves, there's kind of like only 4 things that are going to interrupt a nerve and affect it. It's structural damage. So your back's out, and you've heard the term pinched nerve. You can get pinched nerve even in the foot, motor neuron. And it's just pinched, it's impaired, which gives you a weird feeling. It can be either a sharp pain or a feeling in the feet like ants crawling on your foot, and there's nothing there. Some people describe nerve variations of water trickling down their leg, and there's no water. Creepy crawlies moving, heat, cold, numbness, tingling, all sorts of different descriptions of their nerve. It's not functioning at 100%. It's got that current is decreased, and it gives you weird sensations and different sensations that the brain is trying to work out what it feels like. Even sometimes people will say it feels like there's a fly just landed on my foot or leg. And it's that sensation that the brain that's the nearest thing it can connect it to. So it's always that stimulation. So there could be an impairment with with your structure. So that could interfere with the nerves. Or damage, you've been in an accident, and that could disrupt the nerves, or you've had cut nerves through an operation. And then you can get pathogens, which is like bugs, viruses, bacteria, fungal, mold, all those sort of things can irritate the nerves. Some more than others, of course. And quite often it's the bugs that have been feeding, and then they have waste. And it's the waste that's quite toxic and affects the nerve. And especially if your nerves they haven't got their full protection around them. So that's another thing that can irritate the nerves, is we like to have insulation around the nerves. Same with wiring, it has insulation. If there's no insulation, you're going to spark and short circuit, and fuse is going to go, and it needs the insulation for protection, not only for the equipment but for you as well. And our nervous system is the same. It needs that insulation around it, and the things that give it the insulation is things like calcium. So a good calcium will coat the nerve fibers. You've got the lysine, which also helps calm the nerves and fill the little, sometimes you can get little pits in the nerves. That's normally due to viruses or an impairment of a pinched nerve. And so the lysine, L-L-Y-S-I-N-E, it's an amino acid, and that sort of fills those little pit holes, but it also kind of calms the nerve. It's also a good antiviral, the lysine as well. And quite often people will know it from cold sores. It helps with the cold sores. So the lysine is very good for the nerves. Your calcium is very good for your nerves. B12 is very good for the nerves. You know, there's a lot of people struggling, recovering after the vaccination or after having actually COVID. So they're normally tired, their nerves aren't running on 100%, their energy's not 100%, they're not sleeping as well, they can be feeling a little bit off, they could be moody, not sleeping well, and just miserable. And it's interesting with COVID because we're hearing how it affects the nervous system so much more than a lot of the other bugs. The other bugs do affect the nervous system, but COVID seems to be, everybody's talking about how you get headaches and you get nauseous and you can get all different things, which is actually the nerves are upset. The nerves are just not calm. So all these things will help calm nerves. B12, your calcium, your lysine, they're wonderful to help calm the nervous system. And put that coating on so you're not short-circuiting. Okay, we don't want to short-circuit. We blow a fuse, and then quite often it's with the wrong person. You know, we might be upset with somebody else, but this person who just said something silly to us and we took it the wrong way, and blah, 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 off we go. So our nerves can be a bit agitated. I always know when my calcium is a little bit low because it's the little things that start annoying me, and I react. And then I'll think, why did I react to that? That was only a little thing. It wasn't even important. Oh, my calcium's low. I need to coat my nerve fibers so I'm more resilient and I can handle those little things and I don't go off the top. All right, so other things that can help with the nerves are like, I have some essential oil that I make up, and one's called Hope and one's called Calm. And they're wonderful to help settle the nerves and relax the nerves, and especially if there's some pathogens where they've got toxins and that's affecting the nerves. For an example, a gentleman came a good 5 years ago, and he had burning feet, and they were burning day and night, and they'd been burning for 15 years. So he was forced to retire because he couldn't stand on his feet working hour after hour. He didn't know where to put his feet. The doctors didn't know what was causing it. They tried a couple of things and nothing really worked, or it didn't last, it came back. And so when I had a look at his feet, you could tell that there was no structural issues, so it wasn't a damage with the nerves. They were actually quite good shape. The structure, the bone structure of the feet was very good, because that is my specialty, the bone structure of the feet, realigning them, bringing them back into a more correct position. And of course, when they're in the right position, the nerve supply is perfect and the blood supply is better, and you can walk wherever you want, and they're not going to ache, unless you do 50 Ks or something. Of course, everybody's feet would hurt then. And so I said to him, okay, I'm going to put some oils on your feet, and I want you to do this twice a day and come back and see me in 3 days. And so he did as he was told, which was great. Comes back, walks in the door, oh my gosh. And it was like, oh, what does that mean? Is that a good oh my gosh or a bad oh my gosh? It was like, no, I've got no burning on my feet. And I just looked at him, I said, what? And he goes, no burning on my feet. Within 3 days, the burning had stopped. And I looked at him, I said, but there must be a little bit there, because you've had this for 15 years, And he goes, no, you don't get it. There's nothing, zero. His feet felt normal after 15 years of hell. And he goes, I don't know how you've done it. I don't care. I'm just grateful. And it was the hope oil, the essential oil Hope and Calm. And I've seen it many, many times. It works about 80% of the time with people. So, that's very high success rate. And it's simple. You're just putting some oils on your feet, or, burning feet, pins and needles, numbness. It's not always due to pathogens. It can be due to structure, as I was talking about before. Or things can irritate you through your emotions. You're nervous, you're anxious. Somebody's upset you. Somebody's got under your skin. Somebody's irritating you. They're all sayings to describe how our nervous system is feeling. And when it's love, everything's cool. Everything's rosy and the colours are wonderful. But when somebody's like snarly at you, or saying sly remarks, or they're saying something horrible about you and to your face, then, you get anxious, your heart starts to race, because you feel as if you need to either run from them or fight them. And so your body's getting ready. It's that parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system. One has to start building you up so you can either run or fight, because this person's going to get you. And they're only verbally saying things. They haven't got a knife in their hand, but we react. And our blood pressure starts to increase, so we're pumping more oxygen around our body, ready to go or fight. And but sometimes people say things that are so hurtful that we don't let it go, and we think about it all day, and then we go to bed and we lie down, and the conversations go over in our head. And so that starts keeping our body in that anxious state, in that annoyed state, in that irritated state. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't want to see them again. I can't stand them. And so our body, the heart's still racing again. And so our nerves are just getting irritated constantly. And then we might go into work and somebody parks in your car park and you can't park there, and so that annoys you. And then you get into work and there's no water in the jug and nobody's bothered to fill it up for you. So you have to do that. And then you go to your desk and people have just put folders all over the place, and there's no system and where you like things tidy. So all these things start to annoy you, and they start to build up, and you just go, I can't cope with this, I need to get out of here. And then you go back to your car and there's a ticket on your car. It's a bad day. What do? How do you get out of that? How can you escape from that? Okay, so there's a few things you can do, but sometimes we don't think of these things of, I need to stop this. It's like a roller coaster ride and I need to get off, and we don't know how to, and it just seems to go from one next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and then you start seeing it all around you with things irritating you, and then your blood pressure's up, and then you've got a headache, and then you don't know how to bring yourself down. So even our smartwatches, some of them you can turn on a little part of it and it will tell you to breathe, and it'll show you a picture, and you breathe in until the picture starts to come back down, and then you breathe out, and so it'll calm you that way. Have a couple of glasses of water, go to the park, walk on grass and bare feet, preferably take your shoes and socks off, ground yourself. You know, grounding yourself, getting under a tree, it has beautiful negative ions that will start filling you. Go to the sea, go for a walk on the beach, because there's beautiful negative ions there which will start supporting you through that time. Have a bath with Himalayan salt, you know, that's that pink salt. If you're having a hard time at the moment, or you're recovering from COVID, or are you breaking up in a relationship, or there's lots of things, you know, and that's not even mentioning what's going on over the rest of the world. Have a bath with a whole kilo of Himalayan salt. Put the whole kilo in the bath and lie there for 30 minutes, you know, not burning water, not cold water, nice temperature. 30 minutes, the minerals will be going in through the skin to support you and top you up, and the toxins are coming out. All that negative feelings, and of course your adrenals are pumping, and so that adrenaline is there, and so the body needs to get it out somehow. Otherwise you crash the next day. And then that can irritate the nerves as well, the adrenaline. So have a nice soak in the bath. You know, if you have to have a kilo each night for a couple of nights before it starts to really kick in and you're feeling so much on top of things again, get a good calcium supplement so you can start coating those nerve fibers so those little things stop irritating you. Choose a different way to go to work. There's lots of things that you can do. It's just you have to do something. You can't stay in that state, because you'll just use up all your minerals and all your nutrients where you need them for other things in your life. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? So nerves, our nerves are really important. And if they're irritated, like a toothache, that's an irritated nerve, it's annoying. You don't sleep very well. It's not easy to handle a nerve that's upset. When you've got an earache, that's another one that will really upset you. So they're the nerves. So the nerves are really important to be happy. Have a lot of nutrients around those nerves to keep them happy. And then we're happy. And then we give off good vibes. And we smile at people. And then they smile back. And that goes on to the next person. So that's why we want to be in a good place. And that's why we want to look after ourselves, is so that we can pass that on to other people. So as I said, I have a clinic in Hastings and Waipakarau, and if you would like to ring me and have a chat to me, make an appointment, and I do lots of different things, so I'm bound to be able to help you, or if I can't, I'll soon tell you, and I'll put you on to somebody else who will be able to help you in their expertise. So my number is 0272 495090. So it's 0272 495090. My webpage is www.footbliss, that's one word, footbliss, bliss.co.nz. So thank you for joining me today.